Good day and welcome, Matthew here again. Nations Cup round 39 Tsukuba circuit in the Mazda Roadsters. One make race and starting second on the grid start as you can see. And my probably one and only opportunity to get Makosi, who started on pole, was to be aggressive into the first corner. I took my line, I didn't push him wide, he did come in and pinch me on the exit of that. He goes and flashes lights, I guess he didn't like that, but yeah, he pinched me on the apex. I had a look down the inside here, just more of a scare tactic, see if he would pay attention to me in the mirror and see what I'm doing. But he was a bit wide on the entry into that. I guess that's his line. And so I went to the inside to make it look like I was going to dive him, just to see if I could scare him. Didn't work, he's too good for that. So I kind of settled in for a longer race. It's 11 laps, so it was quite, I say longer race, it's only like 12 minutes long, reasonably short. But it's very difficult to overtake around here. I'm not sure what the slipstream was set to. I think it was set to real. Haven't even checked that in the stats. But Tsukuba circuit, you can see we're nearly done a lap now. It's very short, very tight and twisty. You've only got one or two overtaking opportunities. It takes generally a mistake from the car ahead for you to be able to get a run and make a move into a corner. Or you'd have to have a more powerful car. And since we're all in the same car, you're really relying on the other driver making a mistake, and Makosi's too good for that. He's, well, not too good. He makes mistakes. We all do sometimes. But this was the second race of the night. Had this down pat. The cars aren't tricky enough. The comfort soft tyres a little bit more challenging than sports or slicks, but they're comfort softs. If they're comfort hards, you might see a few more errors creep in, and that may have made the race more interesting. But as it was, it turns into a bit of a train, bit of a procession, not being able to move forward and catch up. And it doesn't help that Makosi is actually faster than me, so one of the reasons I stay with him, at least initially, is because of the draft. I'm able to, I was a little bit slow in the corners, and I was able to use the slipstream to keep up and keep in touch with them. But that's it. After, 3 laps? Makosi in the lead, me second, Schnick sitting in third place. So heading into lap 7 now, I'm sitting about 8 tenths behind Makosi. Schnick has gotten into a battle with Ranger Oz behind and fallen back to about 2 seconds, so I wasn't being threatened from behind. I just needed to focus on the car ahead. So I knew Makosi was a faster driver than me. He's probably got a tenth or so over me around this track, no problem at all. And a tenth around Tsukuba is quite a bit of an advantage. Because it's such a short track, it's fairly easy, so you often come up with very close times among the cars. I think, for example, 3rd through 8th were within 0.050 of a second in qualifying. That's how close it was, or it can be around this track, just the nature of the circuit. But he's about a tenth of a second faster than me, at least around here. So I was trying my hardest to keep pace with him and make any sort of gain I could. I was watching his lines and seeing what he was doing and how he was attacking the corners, and just trying to incorporate that, if I could, the next time I went around that corner, around that lap, just to try to eke out any advantage I could over him. Just to pull a tenth in, and every tenth I could gain would be a win, and would get me closer for a chance of overtaking him maybe. But maybe that was optimistic thinking. Always think positive, that's the main thing with these. But as it was, every time I got a little bit closer, he would then get a little bit further ahead, and it just bobbed around about 8 tenths of a second. I think I'd get it down to the low 7s, and then he'd eke it out into the high 8s, and then it'll bounce back. So we were give or take a tenth within each lap of each other. And it was tough racing, and I know it was more about me being in his draft that was keeping me there and keeping me competitive, because without the draft I imagine he would have just driven away from me. He was definitely a little bit faster the entire race. But it was a good challenge, and I was pretty happy to be this close to him for the entire race. I wasn't sure how this would go. Do enjoy this car in this combo. Just as I said earlier, I think I wish the tyres were comfort hards to bring in a few more mistakes and errors and slides. But I was certainly enjoying this car, and it was easy to pick up and learn, and just a blast to drive around. So lap 9 of 11, just jumping on board with Ranger Oz and Schnick. This battle had been raging since lap 1, and Ranger had had a couple of looks and gotten kind of close to Schnick, but Schnick had covered him off every time. This kind of shows that you can overtake and cleanly at that, but it does kind of rely on the mistake of another driver. I think Schnick just goes a bit too deep into the hairpin this time, understeers through. Ranger sees this and manages to pull it up on the apex and pull it around the inside, and that was just a really nice opportunistic move, because that can be hard to do because the gap was closing. Schnick had realised his mistake and was pulling the car in. It just wasn't coming around fast enough, and Ranger Oz does a really nice job of slotting his car in the gap and preventing Schnick from ultimately closing the door and keeping his position. Ranger goes defensive into this corner, which is nice and fine. Just needs to sit on the apex, prevent Schnick from getting past, and he's away. So it was a really good move by Ranger, and actually wins him 3rd place overall for doing so. But it just goes to show how difficult it is to actually overtake here cleanly. To see a clean overtake like that was great to see, and how easy it is to defend. Like Schnick had a good run on Ranger, but coming up to the hairpin, Ranger takes the inside line and prevents Schnick from, and Schnick can't do anything about it. Like it's so easy to defend your position here. You just got to hit your marks, hit your braking points, hit your apexes, and it's very difficult for another car to go take the long way around the corner and go around the outside. There's just not the, I guess, the overspeed around here that you can get on some circuits to take an outside line around somebody. So that was it in the end. I come home second. I can't do anything about Mikosi. I make a mistake in one of the final corners and I end up like 1.5 seconds down on him. So overall I was really happy with my race pace and my performance, but it just wasn't that much action. As fun as the cars are, they don't translate to the video. You cannot see how fun these things are to drive. It just looks like a procession with 1st, 2nd, 3rd coming home, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. Well, actually Ranger Oz changed that one, didn't he? So yeah, it was a lot of fun. I did look forward to this event, but I feel if they tweaked the tyres a bit, you know, put on comfort hards, maybe up the tyre wear a bit, or something just to throw the cars off a little bit, and so you started to see more mistakes and the cars became harder to control and you got more slides, then you'd see more unforced errors and things like that. It would mix up the field and make battles a bit more interesting and more on a knife edge. As it was, the cars were really easy to drive, and that made them a lot of fun, but then also made the race a bit of a procession. So whoever was the fastest lined up first on the grid, and second fastest, third fastest, and so on, and then it just became a freight train of beautiful Mazda Roadsters for 11 laps. But that's it from me. I hope you did enjoy what you saw. Bit of light commentary and light action. That's why I had to throw in that overtake from Ranger and Schnick. But I do hope you like what you see, and if you did enjoy it, hit that like and subscribe button. Come follow me on Twitch to watch these races live. You get more of an intense feeling when it's happening live. You know, you get my emotions, the tears, the laughter, the joy, same thing, whatever. Anyway, until next time, thank you very much. We've got one more race of the season to go, and then it's all over for 2019. We've got the top 16 superstars, so looking forward to that. Until then, thank you very much, and bye-bye.